Every great achievement in life begins with one invisible force, your mindset. What if I told you that within you lies a power so great, it can open doors where none exist, turn obstacles into stepping stones, and transform lack into abundance? This isn't wishful thinking. It's the law of life. Stay with me, because in this message you will discover the most powerful mindset for success, one that can change not just your circumstances, but your destiny. The law of expectancy is one of the most profound truths that govern success, yet it is often overlooked. To understand its power, you must realize that your expectations are not mere wishes or idle thoughts floating through the mind. They are forces, living energies, that shape the direction of your life. Each expectation, whether conscious or unconscious, is like a magnet drawing toward you the very circumstances that align with it. When you expect failure, even without speaking it, you unconsciously prepare yourself for it. Your body tenses, your decisions weaken, your courage falters, and the opportunities that may have been within your reach suddenly slip away. But when you expect success, the opposite occurs. Your mind becomes alert, your spirit rises, and you move with a confidence that attracts the right people, the right ideas, and the right timing. Life mirrors back to you the picture you secretly hold, and that picture is painted by your expectations. Think of expectation as the soil in which the seeds of your words and thoughts are planted. You may plant seeds of abundance, but if your expectation is barren, the soil will not allow the seeds to grow. You may speak of wealth and freedom, but if you secretly expect lack, your own expectation will choke out the harvest. This is why so many struggle. They say one thing, but expect another. The universe does not respond to the words alone. It responds to the inner expectancy that underlies those words. A person who says, "I will succeed," but deep within expects defeat, has already prepared the way for failure. On the other hand, the one who expects good, even in the face of difficulty, plants a seed in fertile ground. Life must, by law, yield a harvest in alignment with expectation. When you rise in the morning, you set the tone for your day not by your actions alone, but by your expectations. If you rise expecting the day to be filled with problems, you will meet them on every corner. If you rise expecting favor, blessings, and opportunities, the day unfolds to meet your belief. This is not imagination or fantasy, it is the spiritual law at work. Your energy, your outlook, your very vibration sends out a call, and life answers with a corresponding echo. The law of expectancy is not a respecter of persons. It will deliver to you whatever you prepare for, whether it be good or evil, lack or abundance, joy or sorrow. Consider the one who walks into a room expecting rejection. Without speaking a word, their body language, their tone, even the look in their eyes communicate that expectation, and soon others respond in kind. Yet another enters the same room expecting warmth and connection, and people feel drawn to them. Nothing on the outside changed, the shift occurred in expectation. This is the unseen law quietly shaping outcomes. You cannot escape it, for you live under its influence daily. The good news is you can master it, turning it from an unconscious saboteur into a deliberate ally. The mind is a garden that cannot remain empty. If you do not plant expectations of success, weeds of doubt and fear will grow by default. Many allow their past experiences to dictate their present expectations. They failed once, so they now expect failure again. They were rejected once, so they brace themselves for rejection at every turn. Yet the past has no power unless you continue to carry it in your thoughts. To live by expectancy is to say, "The past is over, and a new outcome awaits me. I expect it, I prepare for it, and I welcome it." By doing so, you align with a higher law that makes all things new. When you expect, you create a posture of readiness. Imagine a person waiting for a guest. If they expect the guest to arrive, they clean the house, prepare food, and set the table. If they do not expect the guest, they make no preparation. Success is that guest, and expectancy is your preparation. Without it, you are unready, and even when opportunity knocks, you cannot receive it. With it, you live prepared, and when success arrives, you are already positioned to welcome it. This is why so many people miss their moments, not because success never came, but because they were not expecting it, and so were blind to its arrival. Expectation also governs the words that leave your mouth. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If you secretly expect defeat, your words will betray it. You may try to speak positively, but doubt laces your tone, and the vibration of fear escapes into the atmosphere. True expectancy cannot be faked. It radiates from within, and people can sense it without you saying a word. To cultivate it, you must train your inner vision until your expectation aligns with the success you desire. Speak not only words of faith, but expect their fulfillment as though it were already settled. For faith without expectancy is like planting seeds and never believing they will grow. There are those who live their entire lives imprisoned by low expectations. They expect little from themselves, little from others, and little from life. And by the same law, life delivers little back to them. But the moment you raise your expectancy, you raise the level of your life. Expect great things, and you will be guided into paths that lead to greatness. Expect favor, and doors will swing wide open. Expect abundance, and the resources you need will appear. The universe conspires to meet you at the level of your expectancy, no higher and no lower. The danger lies in idle expectation. To say, "I hope for success," while secretly expecting defeat is self-sabotage. Hope without expectancy is like a bird with broken wings, it cannot fly. But when hope is joined with genuine expectancy, it becomes a force that nothing can resist. To walk each day with an expectancy of good is to align yourself with divine order, for creation itself was founded upon expectation. The dawn expects the sun, the seed expects the harvest, and the child expects the care of its parent. In the same way, you must expect success, for it is your rightful inheritance. To live under the law of expectancy is to take command of your inner world. You do not wait for the outer world to convince you of success. You convince the outer world by the strength of your inner expectation. It begins as a silent knowing, a deep assurance that the good you seek is already on its way. It grows into confidence, shaping your decisions and guiding your actions. Then, without strain, life delivers the very things you prepared for. Expectancy is the invisible bridge between your desire and its manifestation. Without it, you wander aimlessly. With it, you walk surely toward your destiny. Your words are more than sounds carried through the air. They are spiritual decrees, invisible commands that shape the course of your life. Every phrase you release is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the universe, and sooner or later, it must bear fruit. Many speak carelessly, unaware that their casual complaints, their negative remarks, their declarations of fear and limitation are quietly forming the very conditions they dread. The one who says, "I never have enough," prepares a life of shortage. The one who declares, "Nothing ever works out for me," locks the door on opportunity with their own tongue. But the one who chooses to speak words of success, faith, and abundance aligns with an eternal law that cannot fail. What you say about your life today will be the harvest you walk in tomorrow. For words are not idle, they are living, creative power. From the beginning of creation, words carried power. The universe itself was spoken into being, and that divine spark was placed within you. Your words are echoes of that creative authority. When you say, "I am strong," strength begins to arise. When you affirm, "I am guided, I am favored, I am provided for," the unseen forces of life start arranging circumstances to confirm your decree. On the other hand, when you declare weakness, confusion, or defeat, those very conditions multiply. Words are never neutral, they either build or they destroy, bless or curse, advance or hinder. Many struggle for success yet undo themselves daily with their own speech. They plant seeds of hope in their minds, but poison the soil with words of doubt. Until your words agree with your desire, success cannot take root. The tongue is small, but its influence is immense. It can turn the entire direction of a life, just as a tiny rudder steers a great ship. This is why discipline of speech is essential for anyone who seeks success. To master your words is to master your future. A person who constantly declares sickness, lack, and failure cannot walk into health, abundance, and victory. They are trapped by their own confession. But one who deliberately chooses words of life, even in the midst of difficulty, paves the way for miracles. The spoken word is a law unto itself. It summons the unseen into the seen, the invisible into the visible, the hoped for into reality. Consider how many times you may have spoken words without thought. This always happens to me. I'll never get out of this. I can't afford it. I'm not good enough. These words may seem small, but they carry weight. They declare your agreement with limitation, and life simply echoes back your decree. Yet the moment you shift your words, the direction of your life begins to shift as well. To say, I am blessed, I am capable, I am divinely guided, is not to deny reality but to create a higher one. You call forth a greater law that overrides the lower. By choosing your words, you choose your destiny. Words also carry vibration, and this vibration moves through the atmosphere, touching everything around you. When you speak encouragement, it not only lifts others but strengthens your own spirit. When you speak gratitude, it raises the energy of your environment, drawing more reasons to be thankful. But when you speak criticism, bitterness, or fear, you darken the atmosphere around you, and soon the same energy circles back into your own life. Success requires more than effort. It requires alignment with the law of spoken words. Every great achievement is preceded by words of faith boldly declared long before evidence appears. Imagine a farmer who plants seeds in the ground but every day digs them up with doubt, saying, "Nothing will grow, this soil is barren, the harvest will fail." How absurd it would seem, yet this is exactly what many do with their speech. They plant seeds of desire but uproot them with words of unbelief. The soil cannot produce a harvest when the seeds are continually disturbed. The wise understand that once words of faith are spoken, they must be guarded, nurtured, and repeated until the harvest appears. To speak once in faith but then follow with many words of doubt is to cancel the very decree. Consistency of speech is the key, for the universe responds to the prevailing tone of your words, not the occasional phrase. Even in difficulty, the power of words remains. It is in times of trial that your speech matters most. Anyone can speak faith when life is smooth, but the one who speaks victory in the storm demonstrates true mastery. Words become anchors in adversity, holding you steady and keeping you aligned with success. When you declare, "This too shall pass, greater is on the way, I am unshaken," you create an inner strength that no external force can destroy. Your circumstances may look unchanged at first, but your words begin to move unseen currents, rearranging conditions until victory manifests. Your words also act as self-fulfilling prophecies. When you say, "I can do this," you stir up courage and resourcefulness within yourself, and soon opportunities appear that align with your confidence. When you say, "I can't," your energy withdraws, creativity shuts down, and your own actions prove your words true. Success begins with a declaration. Long before inventors created machines, long before artists painted masterpieces, long before leaders built nations, they spoke words that affirmed their vision. The declaration came first, then the manifestation followed. To remain silent is to give power away, but to speak boldly is to claim authority over your destiny. Words spoken over others carry power as well. When you speak encouragement to another, you ignite belief within them. When you declare success over your children, your friends, your community, you are planting seeds that may bear fruit far beyond what you can see. The law of spoken words does not stop at your own life, it extends outward, shaping the environment of everyone you touch. Success is not only personal but contagious, and your words are the carriers of that contagion. Just as negative speech can spread despair, positive declarations can spark transformation in those around you. Guarding your speech does not mean pretending or ignoring reality. It means choosing to align your words with the higher truth of what you desire rather than the lower fact of what you see. Facts change, but truth endures. To say, "I am prosperous," when your bank account is empty is not deception. It is creation. You are not describing the present, you are declaring the future. Words are not mirrors, they are tools. You do not use them to reflect your life, you use them to shape your life. Speak not according to what is, but according to what shall be, and watch as life bends to the authority of your decree. Fear is the great thief of destiny. It whispers limitations into the heart, paints false pictures of failure in the mind, and convinces the soul to shrink back when it was designed to step forward. Fear is subtle. It often disguises itself as caution, as reason, as practicality, but underneath it is the same force of paralysis of the spirit. Every person who has ever longed for success must confront this shadow, for it stands at the doorway of opportunity. Yet there is another force, stronger, greater, eternal in power: faith. Faith is the golden key that unlocks doors sealed shut by fear. It does not deny the presence of obstacles. It declares that there is a higher law at work that guarantees victory beyond obstacles. Where fear sees walls, faith sees bridges. Where fear whispers, impossible, faith declares, already done. To hold a mindset for success, one must learn to master this exchange, trading fear for faith, until faith becomes the natural language of the heart. Fear is a builder. It constructs prisons. A person ruled by fear builds cages with their own thoughts. They see opportunities but retreat, imagining the worst possible outcome. They dream of abundance but sabotage themselves with the belief that they are unworthy or unprepared. They may have talent, ideas, and even resources, but fear renders all of it useless. Faith, too, is a builder, but it builds palaces. A person governed by faith sees opportunity and steps forward boldly, knowing that unseen help will meet them on the way. They believe in their worth, their calling, and the guidance that surrounds them, so they use every gift to its fullest potential. Fear and faith cannot reign in the same heart. One must be chosen, and that choice determines the path of success or stagnation. When fear is allowed to rule, it creates a cycle of defeat. The fearful thought leads to the fearful word. The fearful word leads to hesitant action, and the hesitant action leads to failure or delay, which then confirms the fear and strengthens it. Many live their lives trapped in this cycle, mistaking it for fate, when in truth it is self-created. Faith, on the other hand, begins with a thought of victory, which leads to a word of affirmation, which produces bold action, and bold action brings results that reinforce faith, making it stronger. Success, therefore, is not the outcome of luck or chance, but of which cycle you choose to feed: the cycle of fear or the cycle of faith. Faith is not blind optimism. It is divine certainty. It does not ignore facts but places them under the authority of truth. Facts may say the resources are small, but faith says provision is coming from unexpected places. Facts may say the road is blocked, but faith says there is another way, or that the wall itself will crumble. Faith rests not on human ability alone, but on the unseen law that the universe bends in favor of belief. Fear weakens, but faith strengthens. Fear diminishes creativity, but faith awakens genius. Fear shrinks vision, but faith enlarges it. In the realm of success, faith is not optional. It is essential, for no great achievement was ever born from fear. Imagine two individuals given the same opportunity. One is ruled by fear. They delay, they hesitate, they list every reason why it may not work. They wait for perfect timing, which never comes. The other is ruled by faith. They act, they step forward, they trust that each move will reveal the next. Months later, the fearful one remains in the same place, regretting missed chances, while the faithful one has progressed, grown, and succeeded. The difference between them was not intelligence, not resources, but the presence of fear in one and faith in the other. Success is not determined by the conditions outside of you, but by the condition inside of you. Fear thrives on imagination, using it against you to create images of failure and danger. It exaggerates risks, magnifies obstacles, and convinces you that defeat is certain. But that same imagination, when placed under the control of faith, becomes the most powerful tool for success. Faith uses imagination to see victory before it arrives, to feel abundance before it manifests, to walk in confidence before the evidence appears. The imagination itself is neutral, it simply reflects the master it serves. Under fear it is a prison. Under faith it is a palace. If you would walk in success, you must choose faith as the master of your imagination, painting it with images of triumph instead of defeat. Fear robs you of the present moment by chaining you to future worries that may never occur. It creates anxiety, dread, and hesitation. Faith, however, anchors you in peace, knowing that all things are working together for your good. Faith allows you to move with calm assurance, even when the future is unclear, for it trusts in the unseen hand guiding your steps. Fear is restless, faith is steady. Fear creates panic, faith creates strategy. The successful mind is not one that never faces fear, but one that consistently chooses faith until fear loses its hold. The most powerful transformations in history came from individuals who chose faith over fear. Inventors who dared to believe their creations would change the world, despite ridicule. Leaders who stood firm in vision when everyone else doubted. Entrepreneurs who risked everything, guided only by inner conviction. Their circumstances were often no better than anyone else's, but their faith lifted them above limitations. Faith does not wait for guarantees, it creates them. It does not wait for perfect conditions, it makes them. Fear demands to see before it believes, faith believes, and then it sees. To cultivate faith, one must first recognize the voice of fear. Fear often arrives clothed in logic, saying, "Be careful, don't take risks, stay where it's safe." But behind that mask is a thief trying to rob you of progress. Faith speaks differently. It says, "Step forward, the way will appear, you are not alone." One voice imprisons, the other liberates. The choice between them is the choice between stagnation and success. To strengthen faith, you must feed it daily, with affirmations, with gratitude, with vision, with action. Every time you act in faith, even in a small way, you weaken fear's grip and make faith your dominant force. There is an undeniable law that life responds to the stronger vibration, and faith always carries greater strength than fear. Though fear shouts, faith whispers with authority. Though fear shakes, faith steadies. When you walk in faith, you send out a frequency that draws to you opportunities, solutions, and allies that fear could never summon. Fear isolates, but faith connects. Fear blinds, but faith illuminates. Fear shrinks your world, but faith expands it beyond measure. Imagination is not a mere daydream or idle fancy, it is the workshop of creation, the inner canvas upon which the future is painted before it ever appears in the physical world. Every great achievement, invention, or breakthrough first lived in someone's imagination long before others could see it. The chair you sit upon, the building you enter, the device you hold, all of it existed first as an image in the mind of its creator. Imagination is the seedbed of reality, and the way it is used determines the harvest of your life. To imagine success is to give shape to it, to carve out a place in the unseen that will eventually manifest in the seen. To imagine failure, lack, or defeat is to invite it into being just as surely. For the images you hold in the mind are not neutral, they are blueprints, quietly instructing life to construct them into form. The power of imagination is that it does not know the difference between reality and vision. The body reacts to what the mind imagines. Think of a fearful thought vividly, and the body begins to tremble. The heart beats faster, the palms grow sweaty, though nothing has happened in the physical world. Think of a joyful memory, and the face lights up, the spirit rises, and warmth fills the body, though that moment is long past. If imagination can stir such powerful reactions with illusions of fear or joy, how much more can it shape the course of life when deliberately focused on success? The subconscious mind takes what you vividly imagine as fact, and it begins working day and night to bring it into reality. It arranges thoughts, stirs creativity, and directs actions that align with the image impressed upon it. Those who fail often use imagination against themselves. They replay past mistakes, rehearse worst-case scenarios, and paint pictures of defeat in their minds until those images become so familiar that they walk straight into them. They may not realize it, but they are using the same power that could create victory to create failure instead. Imagination itself is not the problem, it is the misuse of imagination that breeds limitation. Success requires reclaiming this power, disciplining the mind to imagine only what is desired, not what is feared. When you dare to consistently hold a picture of abundance, health, and victory, you call those realities forth. Consider the childlike quality of imagination. A child can transform a stick into a sword, a box into a castle, or a handful of pebbles into treasure. They see beyond the obvious, living in the world of what could be, not what is. Somewhere along the way, many lose this natural gift, replacing it with rigid logic that says, I will believe it when I see it. Yet the truth is the opposite. You will see it when you believe it, and belief is first formed through imagination. Every successful person has retained that childlike power to see beyond the present and create from the unseen. They imagine vividly, boldly, persistently, until what was once invisible becomes inevitable. Imagination is also the language of faith. When you imagine success, you are exercising faith in its possibility. You are rehearsing victory before it occurs, preparing your spirit to receive it as though it were already here. This is why athletes visualize their performance before the game, why leaders envision the outcome of their endeavors, why creators sketch their ideas before building them. They are engaging the law of imagination, for what is pictured repeatedly in the mind becomes impressed upon reality. To imagine success is not fantasy, it is spiritual law in motion. The imagination must be guarded carefully, for it is easily influenced by what you feed it. The images you consume daily through conversations, media, and environment become the raw material for your inner vision. If you surround yourself with lack, negativity, and fear, those images creep into your imagination and shape your future accordingly. But if you choose to fill your mind with inspiration, beauty, and faith, your imagination becomes fertile ground for success. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. To live a successful life, you must deliberately choose what images you allow to occupy your inner world, for those images will eventually become your outer world. Imagination also serves as the rehearsal room of destiny. By picturing yourself walking confidently into opportunity, speaking with clarity, succeeding in your endeavors, you are training your mind and spirit to accept it as natural. When the actual moment arrives, you step into it as though you have already lived it, because in truth you have, many times, in your imagination. This gives you an advantage, for while others may hesitate in uncertainty, you move forward with assurance, having already seen the outcome in the unseen. Imagination eliminates fear of the unknown by making it known in advance through vision. There is great danger in leaving imagination unchecked, for if not directed, it defaults to the patterns of worry and doubt. The mind will imagine problems long before they occur, draining energy and paralyzing action. Many live in prisons built entirely by their own imagination. Chains of, what if? Visions of failure that have never even happened. Shadows that have no substance. Yet the same mind that builds those prisons can tear them down by choosing a new vision. Every time you replace a fearful picture with a faithful one, you weaken the hold of limitation and strengthen the pull of success. To harness imagination for success, one must practice it daily. Close your eyes and picture the life you desire in vivid detail. See yourself walking through it, hear the sounds of it, feel the emotions of it as though it were already real. Do this not once but consistently, until the image becomes so strong within you that the outer world must conform to it. The universe responds to conviction, and nothing builds conviction like a well-trained imagination. Success is not born in the moment of achievement, it is conceived in the mind, gestated through imagination, and birthed through persistence. The imagination is a sacred gift, a divine power given to you to shape your life. It is not meant to be wasted on idle fears or fleeting fantasies, but to be used with purpose and vision. To imagine success is to partner with the creative force of the universe, to give form to what is yet unformed, to call forth what is not yet seen. The pictures you hold in your mind today are the seeds of tomorrow's reality. Choose them wisely, nurture them faithfully, and they will grow into the life you desire. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, yet many underestimate its true nature. It is not simply good manners or polite acknowledgement. It is a magnetic energy that draws more of what you appreciate into your life. A thankful heart is like a beacon, sending out signals of abundance that attract even greater abundance. To live in gratitude is to align yourself with the rhythm of success, for gratitude opens doors that effort alone cannot. When you give thanks for what you have, you multiply it. When you complain about what is missing, you diminish it. Gratitude and complaint cannot exist in the same breath, and whichever you choose determines the quality of your life. Gratitude is creative because it transforms perception. The one who sees only what is lacking closes themselves off from the flow of good. They may have blessings in their hands, but because they do not acknowledge them, those blessings slip away. The one who sees even the smallest gift and gives thanks for it magnifies it. Life itself responds to gratitude like fertile soil responds to water. It nourishes the seed and accelerates the harvest. When you say, "Thank you," for what you already possess, you declare to the universe, "I recognize the good, I honor it, I am ready for more." That readiness becomes a magnet, pulling more good toward you. Gratitude is also an antidote to fear and worry. Fear thrives on thoughts of scarcity, whispering, "There will not be enough," while worry rehearses all the possible lacks and losses of tomorrow. But gratitude fixes the mind on what is already present, anchoring it in abundance. When you are thankful for the air you breathe, the opportunities before you, the wisdom within you, fear loses its hold, for it cannot survive in the atmosphere of gratitude. Worry evaporates because gratitude roots you in trust that if the present is filled with gifts, the future will be as well. A thankful heart becomes unshaken because it always finds a reason to celebrate. Those who master gratitude know that it is not reserved for moments when life seems abundant. It is a discipline to be practiced especially in seasons of lack. Anyone can give thanks when the table is full, but the one who gives thanks when the table is bare demonstrates the true power of gratitude. To say, "I am thankful for what I have, and I trust more is on the way," even when outward conditions seem meager, is to plant a seed of abundance in barren ground. That seed will break through the soil, for gratitude calls life upward, no matter how deep the darkness. Gratitude is not denial of challenges. It is recognition that beneath challenges lies the certainty of provision. Think of gratitude as currency in the spiritual economy. Just as money circulates and multiplies when it is used wisely, so does gratitude. The more you express it, the more it returns to you in multiplied form. A person who hoards complaint and withholds gratitude lives in poverty of spirit, regardless of their possessions. But a person who freely gives thanks finds themselves surrounded by abundance, often in ways they could not have imagined. Gratitude creates a flow, keeping the channels of blessing open. Without it, even great riches can feel empty. With it, even small possessions can feel like treasures. Gratitude also shifts your focus from striving to receiving. Many exhaust themselves chasing success, believing that only through endless struggle will they reach fulfillment. Yet gratitude teaches that you are already in possession of good, and that acknowledgement opens the way for more to arrive without strain. It is like tuning a radio. When you tune to the frequency of abundance through gratitude, you pick up the signal of success. Struggle and strain tune you to lack, gratitude tunes you to supply. By giving thanks, you align with the flow of life rather than fighting against it. Gratitude has a multiplying effect because it touches not only your spirit, but also the people around you. When you express sincere appreciation to others, you elevate their spirit, creating an atmosphere of generosity and goodwill. This atmosphere comes back to you in unexpected blessings. A grateful leader inspires loyalty, a grateful friend deepens trust, a grateful worker attracts favor. Gratitude is not only a spiritual magnet, but also a practical force in relationships, careers, and communities. It transforms environments, making them fertile for success. Even the body responds to gratitude. Studies may measure it, but spiritual law has always known it. Gratitude brings health, vitality, and energy. A thankful heart produces joy, and joy strengthens the body. Complaint produces bitterness, and bitterness drains life. To rise each day with words of thanks is to set your body, mind, and spirit in harmony. It releases tension, calms the nervous system, and creates clarity of thought. Success requires energy and vitality, and gratitude is one of the surest ways to generate both. Gratitude is also a teacher of perspective. What one person overlooks as insignificant, another praises as miraculous. The difference is not in the gift itself, but in the eyes that see it. To cultivate gratitude is to train your vision to notice the hidden blessings in each moment. The opportunity hidden within the problem, the growth hidden within the delay, the strength hidden within the trial. Gratitude does not wait for perfection, it celebrates progress. It does not require everything to be complete, it rejoices in every step along the way. With this mindset, success is not a distant finish line, but a daily experience of abundance. Those who dismiss gratitude as simple or sentimental fail to grasp its true strength. Gratitude is not weak, it is commanding. To give thanks in the midst of difficulty is an act of power, declaring, "I am not controlled by appearances. I am aligned with truth." Gratitude calls things that are not yet seen into being by treating them as already given. When you say, "I am thankful for my success," even before it has manifested, you set in motion the forces that make it so. Gratitude bridges the gap between desire and fulfillment by creating an inner reality that attracts the outer. The mind trained in gratitude naturally becomes a magnet for success because it sees opportunities everywhere. Where others see obstacles, the grateful person sees stepping stones. Where others see failure, they see lessons. Where others see lack, they see preparation for increase. Gratitude sharpens the eyes to notice what others miss, and in noticing, they seize chances that others overlook. This habit of mind creates a cycle of abundance. For each opportunity seized produces more to be thankful for, which in turn attracts more opportunity. Success is not a fleeting moment, but a consistent unfolding. The mindset of success does not collapse under delays or obstacles, for it knows that truth always prevails. Persistence aligned with divine law makes victory inevitable. When you choose this mindset, the mindset of expectancy, faith, vision, gratitude, and persistence, you do not chase success. Success chases you, and the world, which once seemed against you, begins to conspire in your favor.